The 1995 Ford Contour is often remembered as a turning point in Ford's approach to the compact and midsize sedan segment. Released as a successor to the Ford Tempo, the Contour was built with the intention of being a world car, a single model to be sold with minimal changes across various international markets. Known as the Ford Mondeo in Europe, the Contour was the North American version and was developed as part of Ford's ambitious CDW27 project, which aimed to streamline vehicle production across regions. As such, the 1995 Contour marked a significant shift in Ford's design philosophy, engineering strategies, and global manufacturing outlook. From the outset, the Ford Contour was praised for its sharp handling, relatively advanced engineering for its class, and European-style road manners, a departure from the more comfort-focused American sedans that dominated the early 1990s. Built on a rigid unibody chassis with a well-balanced suspension setup, McPherson struts in the front and a multi-link rear suspension, the Contour was nimble, responsive, and quite fun to drive, especially compared to its American rivals. This European-inspired driving dynamic earned it favorable comparisons to cars from Honda and BMW, even if it didn't quite match them in overall refinement. Under the hood, the 1995 Contour came standard with a 2.0-liter inline-4 Zetec engine, producing 125 horsepower. For those seeking more performance, Ford offered an optional 2.5-liter Duratec V6 engine delivering 170 horsepower, a respectable figure for a car of its class at the time. The V6, in particular, was lauded for its smooth power delivery and eager acceleration. Both engines could be paired with either a 5-speed manual transmission or a 4-speed automatic, giving buyers some flexibility in how they wanted to drive their Contour. The interior of the 1995 Contour was functional but not particularly groundbreaking. The layout was driver-focused, with logically placed controls and gauges. Material quality was average for the class, with some models featuring soft touch surfaces and decent upholstery, especially in the higher trim levels like the GL and LX. While the front seats were comfortable and supportive, rear seat passengers often found the space a bit tight, a common criticism of the Contour. The back seat was adequate for 2 adults on shorter trips, but taller passengers would find legroom lacking. In terms of features, the Contour came reasonably well equipped for a 1995 model. Standard equipment included dual airbags, a growing trend at the time, and anti-lock brakes were available as an option. Air conditioning, power windows, cruise control, and an AM/FM stereo were also part of the package depending on trim level. The SE trim added more sporty touches, such as alloy wheels, a rear spoiler, and upgraded interior materials. The Contour's exterior design was more rounded and modern compared to the boxier shapes of its predecessor, the Tempo. It featured aerodynamic lines, flush headlights, and a sleek profile that was meant to appeal to a global market. Although not considered groundbreaking in design, it aged relatively well and looked more contemporary than many other compact sedans of the era. It wasn't flashy, but it had a subtle sophistication that gave it a broader appeal. One of the key selling points of the Contour was its handling. Thanks to its European roots, the suspension setup gave it a taut and responsive feel on twisty roads, something not typically associated with American sedans of the era. The steering was direct and communicative, the chassis felt well balanced, and the ride quality was firm without being uncomfortable. It straddled the line between sportiness and practicality, making it a unique offering for American consumers. Despite its strengths, the 1995 Ford Contour was not without its shortcomings. Rear seat space, as previously mentioned, was a frequent complaint, especially for a car that was marketed as a midsize vehicle. Additionally, early models suffered from reliability issues, particularly with the automatic transmissions and certain engine components like the timing chain tensioners in the Duratec V6. These problems tarnished the Contour's reputation somewhat and affected resale values in the long term. Another issue was market positioning. The Contour was priced close to larger sedans like the Ford Taurus, which offered more interior space and similar features. As a result, many buyers simply opted for the Taurus, leaving the Contour caught in a no-man's land between compact and midsize segments. Its European feel was appreciated by some but went unnoticed by many American buyers who were used to softer riding, roomier cars. Nevertheless, the Contour did find a loyal following among enthusiasts who appreciated its driving dynamics and saw its potential as a fun-to-drive sedan with sleeper qualities. The availability of the V6 engine in a relatively light chassis meant that the Contour SE could surprise drivers of more expensive sports sedans. This also made it a popular platform for light modifications and performance tuning. In terms of safety, the 1995 Contour was competitive for its time. Dual front airbags were standard, and it earned decent crash test scores from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration (NHTSA). Anti-lock brakes and traction control were available as options, although not widely adopted due to the extra cost. Fuel economy was reasonable, with the four-cylinder models achieving around 25 mpg in the city and up to 34 mpg on the highway. The V6 models, while less efficient, still managed respectable figures for their class. This balance between performance and efficiency made the Contour a sensible choice for commuters who didn't want to sacrifice driving enjoyment. Over the years, the Contour gained somewhat of a cult status among car enthusiasts, especially the high-performance Contour SVT that was introduced later. The SVT version was a factory-tuned model that pushed the V6 to nearly 200 horsepower and included sport suspension, upgraded brakes, and unique styling cues. Though it came after the 1995 model year, the SVT helped boost the overall image of the Contour as more than just a mundane family car. In the broader context of automotive history, the 1995 Ford Contour stands out as a bold experiment. It was one of the first real attempts by an American automaker to introduce a truly global vehicle, and while not a massive commercial success in the US, it laid the groundwork for future global platforms. Vehicles like the Ford Focus, which followed in the early 2000s, benefited from the lessons learned during the Contour's development and life cycle. Today, the 1995 Ford Contour is often overlooked in used car markets, but it holds a special place in the hearts of those who drove and maintained them. For those looking to purchase one now, it's important to look for well-maintained examples with service records, particularly those that have had their transmission and engine issues addressed. Parts availability is decent thanks to the shared platform with the Mondeo, and online communities still exist to support owners and enthusiasts. In conclusion, the 1995 Ford Contour was a significant, if underappreciated, vehicle in Ford's history. It brought European engineering and driving dynamics to an American audience at a time when most compact sedans were dull and uninspired. While it didn't dominate the sales charts, it influenced a generation of Ford vehicles and helped push the brand toward a more globally unified approach to design and production. For enthusiasts and collectors, the Contour represents a piece of 1990s automotive innovation. A car that tried to be everything to everyone and came surprisingly close.